Well, good morning or good afternoon to everybody, depending on where you're located. This is another in the series of Agilon webinars on new features, functions, and capabilities in the 4.5 release. And today we're going to talk about Relay, which we have dubbed the next generation of donor communications. And with that, I'm just going to jump right into the screens and start showing you what's new there. The biggest thing you'll see with Relay version 4.5 is there is a new campaign dashboard. And this is basically going to be your go-to screen for all your email campaign creation, setting up content, testing, verifying, and running and reporting. So really everything can be done directly off the dashboard. As you can see here, I'm overviewing a number of campaigns. Each area here is a separate email campaign. The name of the campaign is bolded and quite easy to see. We've also maintained the organization and project allocations and arrangements of campaigns that you're familiar with. And these are links, so you can directly navigate to the detail areas of the organization, the projects, and the campaign itself, which we'll get to momentarily. You can have really any number of emails open to manage here, and the way that they come onto the screen is it remembers where you were. And if you haven't been into this screen yet, you'll come up with no campaign showing, and you'll see the search panel, which I just opened by clicking the search button. So here you can see what I've got dialed into the search is the Agilon University organization and the particular project that I'm going to be working on campaigns in. You can get campaigns across an organization by blanking the project, and you can get individual campaigns or further refinement of that by typing in keywords or a partial name or full name of a campaign. For instance, if I wanted to look at campaigns dealing with alumni, I can filter that dashboard down to just the alumni campaigns. Other filters available in the search are dates the campaigns were created. These are ranges for a start and an end. If you want the beginning of time, you can leave it empty on the left. If you want the end of time, you can leave it empty on the right. So created, when they were last worked on or modified, when they last ran, and when they're scheduled to run next. Another new feature we've introduced with this dashboard is a way to sort and order the campaigns you're looking at. Here they're ordered by name, alphabetic. But if we wanted to look at campaigns most recently worked on, for example, we might order it by modified date. And here my most recent campaigns are going to be shown on the top. You notice here I just modified this one today. We can sort on statuses. We can sort on the type of campaign and the various types of dates. Statuses available to sort here are any of the states the campaign can be in. For example, if I wanted to just see campaigns that have completed and do my reporting, I can filter right down to that. If I want to see the campaigns that have delivery configured and test successful, we can go to there. Very handy for filtering through the large numbers of email campaigns we see today. Another feature we've built in here is direct access to the archival areas. That was a little bit cumbersome. You had to do multiple clicks, work with one campaign at a time. But here we can archive campaigns, multiples. For example, I can pick these two here and archive them both. I can also delete them directly off of here. The difference being, of course, archive campaigns are hidden from the active view but are still there, and you can recover them, bring them back to active. I'll go ahead and archive these two that I selected. And then to see those, we show the archive campaigns. To bring them back, all we have to do is select them or use the navigation menu here to restore. But the restore campaigns will bring them right back into the active list. So the data is still there when they're archived. When they're deleted, the data is completely removed. So you'll be confirmed with a delete. It will always ask you to confirm that. But once you do that delete in either area, the campaigns are gone as they always have been. But much easier to work with these campaigns. You can archive a dozen of them at a time if you're finished with them. Bring back archive campaigns very, very quickly and easily. Within the dashboard areas themselves, I mentioned the campaign name here. This will drill us down into what we had been familiar with as the campaign status display, and we'll go take a look at that in a minute. We can go work with the organization area by clicking on the organization name and create new projects, or drill into the organization and work with the projects that are there. But once you drill into the organization, what will happen is it's just going to come back to the dashboard with that project selected. So again, you're coming back to your main go-to area for that. We've put the click tracking controls right up to the dashboard. So if we wanted to take a disabled campaign, turn on click tracking, no links there. That's not very exciting. Let's pick one that does have some links. We can work with those links, turning them on, turning them off for tracking directly on the dashboard and never leave the context we're in. So very easy to see the status of where you're at with not only the campaign state, but the things that are important, like having your click tracking enabled if you're doing that. Some other areas that are shown here, we show the content type, which is really the template that's creating that, creates the content, the data, and so forth that your administrators have set up. So that's easy to see when it was created, when it was modified, when it was last run, and next run. We've also brought statistics up to the campaign dashboard to make it very easy to see the results of your campaigns. And this is probably one of the most exciting areas. And we'll show more about how this works in a minute. But the opens and click tracking we've always done. We brought those statistics right up to the front. In 4.5, we've added ROI tracking for your online actions. So for instance, if you're sending an email out with a link to your online giving, you can automatically record the results of anybody coming to online giving through that email. So gifts, pledges can all come through your online giving tracking. Event registrations and membership purchases and renewals can all be automatically tracked and recorded and reported on. Most of you are probably familiar with our campaign statistics of messages sent, open, bounce that we've always tracked. We've brought those up here. And if you've configured your Relay installation to do so, you can directly export lists in Excel of any of these areas. For instance, take our opt-outs and mark them as appropriate email codes if we wish. So the RO tracking is new in 4.5 and a really exciting feature and very automated. So I'm going to drill down into an actual campaign display area, which is the page that you're familiar with working with, but it's been upgraded quite a bit. You notice the status icons are visually placed here now. The click tracking is a link just like on the dashboard and can easily be worked with right off the display. And our results are being directly shown in that same context. Further down, you can see the metrics that had been on this page prior, but a new area of our link tracking is brought right in here, and it's also included in all the reporting. So the number of clicks and the percents of clicks to those links are directly reported on screen now. So you notice the action icons have replaced what had been our action buttons. And we've put some intelligence into here. For instance, you can see some of these are not available because the campaign's not in a state where they can be used. And we've tried to be intelligent about how that works, both in the status display and in the campaign dashboard themselves. You notice here, this is a completed campaign. We can preview it directly off of the dashboard. We can report on it. and my reports thinking. And thinking. And we may not wait for that. Ah, there we go. Thank you, Mr. Report. What I was going to show you here in the reports have been upgraded to show the results in terms of gifts, pledges, registrations, memberships that were attached to this actions from this email campaign. The statistics that we've had before have been augmented by percentages, and the click-through tracking is shown in the reporting as well as on the screens now. So the reporting is available not only from the dashboard, but also still from the status screen as it had been. We can also get the campaign history of what's happened to the campaign. We can copy campaigns and archive and delete directly off the dashboard. So this is a completed campaign, and those are the actions available. If we come to a campaign that's still in progress, we can edit it, the content, the preview again. We can test it directly off of here, send our test emails. We can work with the recipients, schedule, start delivery, and once delivery is started, we'll see there's a button to stop delivery, as well as the reporting and the other functions. So these menus are intelligent in that they only really present the functions that you should be doing at that point in the campaign, should be easier for people to understand and more intuitive. So I'll do a couple more of the dialogues here so you can see how they work. I'm going to go into the call to action campaign and run them off here. So you can always get to all the functions that are available. Even though the campaign's completed, I could still come work with recipients here, but it wasn't presented to me on the dashboard because I really shouldn't be doing things with recipient lists once a campaign is completed. So working with recipients has been upgraded a bit. We can still load files. We can still use queries. It's all been consolidated to a single screen, so as you're loading recipients, you can see the results of those loads. You can still export your recipient lists to Excel or other computer-based formats, clear your duplicates, and export your merge field data with the list if you do this. If you have people loaded or a query available for new recipients, your Simulate Campaign button will come active. It's grayed out here because all of these people have been sent to, opted out, or already processed. So there's really no data to simulate with. If I loaded some new people, I would simulate here also. And the simulation is the same type of action that you're used to. The scheduling is also the same as you're used to, just comes up in context now. So are no duplicates allowed, start, end dates, and repeat intervals available. And I mentioned earlier the campaign history is still the report that you're familiar with here. Tracks all the actions in the campaign. So the campaign status display has been upgraded with the same icons and actions as the new dashboard has, so that should be familiar to everybody. I'm going to come over here to another example campaign and show you how working with content has been upgraded. So if I come into my fall newsletter and choose to edit that, you'll see our content editor has been significantly upgraded. It's a single all-in-one context now. Having some of the things you're familiar with, you can still load message content from files if you choose to. The preferred method, of course, in terms of getting baseline content is to use a template that's been predefined with images and data fields and perhaps borders and footers and things like that. But if you want to do files, you can still load them here. You can also download the files that have been used in this campaign. And those will be pre-populated from the template if available. The message header is set up in this area with the tos, the froms, reply tos, and the subjects. Of course, you can use merge fields in any of those, and that's what we're seeing here in the first name and last name. The HTML content editor is below that. The editor has been upgraded to include some new features and capabilities and be a little more intuitive to use. For example, table functions pop up right here. Makes it real easy to work with that HTML content. As we move down, you notice there's a new action button here, Generate Text Message. And that is basically an automated means to populate your text content based on what you've done in the HTML. Now, those of you that have worked with it, you know that links and images and those types of things don't translate to text very well, but it does give you a nice baseline, gives you all the text and breakouts that you can then come in and edit, add the links if you wish, and things like that. On the right-hand side, you'll see that we have a new image management area. And I'm going to bring up a file here off screen that I can use quickly. You can click here to load an image file if you wish, and choose it off your computer. But it also supports drag and drop. So if you just bring one or more images over from a select, it'll automatically load those for you. Very easy. You'll see all the images loaded here. And I put in 2 of my header images, looks like. You can remove them by clicking the Remove button. And with the images here, you can drag and drop them directly into your email campaign to use with the content. Once they're in the email campaign, then your editor takes over. You can size them. You can put styles to them, borders, any other HTML attributes you'd care to add. Merge fields are shown here just to the left of the images. These are all the merge fields available in the campaign. You can still work with them in the, and since I've changed it, it's going to want me to save that. You can still work with merge fields in the setup panel. If you want to set the test values, the formats. Here you can see I've created my own merge fields. They weren't part of the template here, so they're user defined, and I have employer and user ID, and I've used this panel to set those up. And by saving that, you'll update your merge field settings. And the content options was a separate screen and is available here as a dialog now, where you can do things like set up your footers, your subscribe links, your unsubscribes, and all those details. Now, to some degree, this setup is not needed anymore because you can really do all of these things directly within your HTML editor. And one of the new features we've put in 4.5 is to be able to remove the view as a web page link. That came in automatically, and you could hide it with a style sheet, but it was a little bit techy and wasn't obvious. Here we've given you a direct control. So if you'd like that link to automatically appear at the top of your email, you can do that. When you preview it or test it or send it, you'll see that link at the top of the email here. Now, when I say this, the content areas are somewhat obsolete, the reason being is, for instance, if I turn off the view as web link in the automatic format, I now have quick links that I can drag and drop over here to do the same thing. Here's the view as the web page link. I can bring that in at the top of my email. I can change the wording within that link, and when I preview it, after I save it, notice the preview was grayed out because it knew that I wasn't ready to do that until it was saved. And that same view as a web page link will appear wherever you drag that quick link into. So I jumped into quick links via the view as a web page, but our subscribe or unsubscribe links are available here too. So if you wanted to put those in the footer, at the header, wherever you normally place those, you can do that instead of using the content option settings. But we also have other quick links available here, which is really the power of the new results tracking. Your administrator will need to configure these to your particular online services, but your online giving, events registration, membership, and so forth can all be set up as quick links. For instance, if I want to do a Give Now link here, I can drag that over, and the link is pre-configured for me. So if I look at this link in the editor, we'll see that it's all set to come to my Constituent Connection new gift screen. And we've included all the different things you can do with that link. For instance, if I want to set a suggested amount to $250, if I want to open a designation to give to, set a reason code, those can all be pre-configured in these links, so that now when we save and preview, my Give Now link will open directly to my giving page. Here's my pre-selected $250 gift. And it can automatically identify the person who the email was sent to. This is another new feature in 4.5. And I won't go into all the technicalities of it, but it's a parameter in the link called unifier string. And for this, you don't even have to do anything particular in setup. What will happen with the unifier string is Relay will automatically identify that it's part of the link. You can use it with Constituent Connection, and if you have other sites that want a string like that, you can use it there. But Constituent Connection is directly configured to use this to identify the person. It's an encrypted string of the person's identifying information. We can also do that online with IDs and last names and so forth, but this is an encrypted set. It's very secure, very robust, and is automatic. You don't have to set up that link per se. Relay will identify the person who it's sent to. When they click on that giving link, Constituent Connection will recognize them, and their profile will be pre-populated, and the gift will be associated with their donor record. So these quick links are very, very advantageous. If we want to set up an event registration link, for example, we can drag that in, direct them to a particular event by putting the event ID here. We can even direct them to a particular college's site, controlling the view and the skin on Constituent Connection or any other controls in that link. And when people use that, then they'll be directly connected to your online giving, your online events, your online memberships. The merge fields work like they had before. To use a merge field in the email, you simply drag it and drop it, and then you can change it if you wish to, but that is preset to what the merge field value is. So you shouldn't need to do anything with merge fields other than drag and drop them in. One other feature of the drag and drop panels, you'll see these open in new window controls here. This lets you bring that whole panel out in a standalone. So for example, if I have lots of images, I can drag down to get to a particular image. If I need to put it in content, I can move the content and then plop it in as I desire. And when you exit the editor, I'm going to need to save it. It'll return from where you came from. In this case, we came from the dashboard, so it should take us right back to the dashboard. If we click back on the project here, it'll take us back to the campaign dashboard where we came from. And I wanted to show you one other area of content here that y'all may not be aware of. This is a newsletter we set up as an example of mobile-friendly, mobile-responsive, if you will. And this is a pretty simple thing for any of you to use. If you haven't already set up mobile-responsive emails, we have a a mobile responsive style set that you can include in your campaign, and takes your email and makes it mobile responsive so that if it comes up on a device that is, say, 600, 700 pixels wide, it automatically adjusts. So if you're not using mobile responsive emails, we strongly suggest that you do. And really the only thing it needs to be, other than some design criteria, is use the mobile responsive style sheet. The other areas of Relay have some minor updates to them, but nothing that we're going to cover today. You still have your system dashboard available, which is really made for administrators to keep track of the system and had been used for general campaign management. That's been replaced essentially by the campaign dashboard for the normal users. Your system reporting is still available, and all of your template setups and opt-out controls are still here as always. So really the new thing is come to the dashboard. The administrators will need to enable this for people. It is a new security function. And I guess one other thing I should mention, the new campaign, tried to make that very intuitive and obvious. But to create a new campaign, you simply click that button. It knows where you came from in terms of the organization and the project, and will default there. You can put the campaign in any project or any organization that you have access to. And once you save it, it'll take you back to the dashboard with that project. So you don't have to remember where it was you saved the campaign to. And another small piece, but important, if you want to update the name of the campaign, simply come drill to it from the dashboard, click on the campaign name, and you'll be able to update that as needed. The copy campaign works as it always has, very similar to the new in terms of it knows the organization and the project you're in, but if you want to copy it elsewhere, you can. You'll give it the new name, and when you save it, it'll take you back to that project where the new campaign was created in. And that is covering the new functions of the Relay version 4.5. Don't hesitate to ask questions. We'll be doing installation and training in different organizations. Our support folks are there to help. If you want to try out the new ROI features, the new user identifications, the quick link setups, any of those, we're here to help as needed. And we hope you enjoy the new features and take advantage of them. And that's all we're covering in the webinar today. I can open up for questions. If you all have microphones, we can answer some questions.
Can you hear me, Dave?
I can.
I have a couple of questions for you. I really like most all of these features. When working within a project, this one here, when you go to the edit, one thing that I've been doing a lot of is copying campaigns, something that I haven't done a lot of before, but I've been doing a bunch of that. The thing that I wish would happen, the from names, the email addresses, the reply to name, and the reply, all of that is based off of either where you copy it from or the last campaign that you created. It holds that. Would there be a way that you could set the project to always have the same, because most of the time, 90% of the time, my from name, my email address, reply to name, email address, it's always the same. There, every once in a while, we'll need to change maybe the from line or maybe the email address, which is kind of a pain because then I forget, oh, geez, the next time I come in there, then it's holding the previous one instead of the one that project normally always has.
Yeah, yeah. Could understand. So you'd like those to be attached to the project directly?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. We'll put that in our to-do list.
That would be awesome. I mean, that would take, especially since the copying campaign. So that'd be
Right.
great. The second one was that style sheet. Where do you get that from?
That's a good question. Our support group can get it to you. We should probably have that online, but I don't know that we do. What I can do is email that out to everybody in the webinar here today, or simply call our support desk or put a ticket in the support desk, and we'll provide it to you that way also.
I wouldn't mind it emailed to us because I'm implementing a lot of style sheets, and that seems like something I could easily implement. So that'd be cool.
Right. Yeah, I'll try to put together a package that kind of gets you started with that, and we'll get that available.
Hi, Dave.
Yes.
This is Sophie. I'm sorry, I missed half the presentation. I was in a meeting. This is version 4.5, right?
Yes, that's correct.
When is it? Has it been released? Can we request to have it installed in one of our dev environments?
We are ready to do that. Yes.
Okay, so I just have to put in a ticket, right?
Yes.
Okay. Second question. I know there's no one from Philips watching this. Is there do you record this? Can I send a pre-recorded to some of the OER people so that they have an idea what it is
Yes, we are recording, and we'll have all of our webinars online probably next week.
Online next week. Okay.
We'll send emails out to you and make sure you have links to that.
Sounds good. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Dave, I did have one more for you.
Uh-huh.
Can you go back to the dashboard there of this campaign? Just drill into one.
And drill into the campaign here?
From here, too. Either one. You can drill into that one.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to kind of make a note that we really like this dashboard. This is really cool, being able to see all of this. Plus, if you drill down, kind of go down lower there, this here is awesome. I mean, the click-through counts, all of that type of stuff is great. And we find that more and more people really want this.
Yes.
I didn't know if there was a way that this could be automatically emailed, like this report could automatically be emailed to somebody, like Janine, or in our, to like whoever is in charge of the project. I know I talked to the other Dave about that, so that was one thing that I didn't know what your plans were there or how we could do that.
Yeah, actually, I believe we are looking at creating essentially a standard report outside of Relay that would do exactly the same thing. And that way you could run your report manager and automatically, daily or weekly, pull any of the completed campaigns and report them. So we are looking into that. I think probably you and Dave's conversation started that, but I know we were talking about that just the other day. But yeah, we realize that's something that we want to do, is to be able to automate distribution of that information.
Great. Yeah, so just kind of keep us updated on that, because that is one feature. I just wanted to make a note that it's really, really handy for us to be able to see this, but we have so many people that we need the report. It would be nice to be able to automate that. So
yes.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yes. So I do believe we'll have something available to look at shortly on that, probably within a few weeks anyhow. But I'm actually speaking for Mr. Brimmeyer, which I shouldn't do, but we are looking at that, and it shouldn't take long to put something together for you. We'll put that in standard product also. Well, we're excited about the new Relay. You'll notice a number of the things in the user interface are a different take or a improvement over our traditional, and we're planning to do a lot more of this through the product, make things more intuitive, easier to navigate, fewer clicks and fewer menus and so forth. So we're looking forward to future improvements, and we certainly welcome your feedback on this and any other areas. Is there anything else that you all would like to talk to on Relay today? Otherwise, we'll wrap up, and like I say, we'll have the recordings online in the next week or so, and we'll make sure that you all have links to all of the webinars. So if you miss one or two, you can share those with people and catch up, and we'll look forward to seeing you on our next webinar. Thank you all for taking the time, and we'll hope to talk to you again real soon. Have a good afternoon.